What is going on YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just BSN podcast, and today we have episode 91. And today we actually have a pretty different and pretty fun episode ahead. So, before we get to the fun stuff, we will knock out some of the Guardians news, and there's a little bit of Shadur news going on right now. So, we'll try to quickly skim through that. And then we're going to relive 9 years ago today. The Cleveland Cavaliers won their NBA championship after coming down from 3-1, winning game 5, winning game 6. And we're going to relive and watch some highlights of game 7 of the NBA Finals, which was arguably one of the best NBA playoff games you will ever witness. And honestly, the series was one of the best series you will ever watch. In NBA history. Man, I am excited. I always love when this starts to pop up in my feed, and I'm like, oh crap, it's been this long. It's been 9 years. 2016 was when we won the NBA championship. How excited are you today to just kind of relive it? Especially because we were just kids back then. Like, I don't even think I was 21 yet at this time.
No, I was 20 in 2016. Because I was born in 96. I was 20. So you might have been 21.
I think I was either 20 or 21. It was one or the other.
Yeah.
I was turning 21 after.
You were turning 21,
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I had just turned 20 back in February.
Yep.
So before the finals happened and whatnot. So
wow.
We were sophomores, juniors in college at that time period.
Yeah, I was just starting at Kent State at the time because I went to Stark State for like 5 semesters.
Yeah.
And then transferred over in that spring. I believe of 2015, I think that was. I forget. But yeah, I was just starting at Kent State. I wasn't even going for journalism at that time. I was still actually going for, fun fact, I when I originally went for college, I went out to go for computer science and programming. And then I realized how bad I sucked at it. Failed CS1 and decided to take a gamble and go for a journalism degree, which I don't necessarily regret, but I don't work in journalism at all, so I don't really get to use the degree besides this, which is still fun. But I didn't need a degree to start my own podcast, that's for sure. But yeah, man, the fact it's been 9 years.
It's crazy.
I turned 30 in September, so that just sort of gives you the impression of how long it's been. So yeah, dude, I'm excited. I have my shirt too in the in my closet, like in my closet here, which I will get out once we start getting into this. But I do still have my original like championship shirt, and I bought the exact one that they had as soon as they won it, and it took like 2.5 weeks to get shipped to me or some shit. I forget what it was, but it was something stupid. So yeah, I am excited. So before we get into it, let's get through the nitty gritty. Let's get through the BS. Because again, the Guardians are still struggling. They've played better this past few days. They had a much better series against the Giants than they did against Seattle. They won the series against the Giants, but they lost today 2-1. Pitching again was phenomenal all throughout the series. Gavin went 6 innings. 6 Ks. I think he had 3 walks, which I think ended up setting up the inning that they scored both of their runs, which I think was the 7th inning. So that wasn't ideal. But again, the Guardians had 7 hits and could only grab 1 run out of it, which was through the hands of Carlos Santana, who seems to be the only guy that can drive in runs besides Jose at this point. It doesn't seem to be getting much better, and you just wonder, A, how long it's going to take for CDL to get up here, and B, when the hell they're going to make some moves, because something needs to change.
Well, I think they're starting to realize that the Thomas injury is going to hinder him, and he's just not going to be the same. He's not going to, he's just not hitting the ball well. Let's just be honest. He's not hitting the ball well.
He was a one-year rental. He really was.
It was a 1-year rental, and I mean, even Nolan Jones hasn't been working out. Like he's been good this whole month, Nolan Jones. So I will credit him for that. He has figured it out in the month of June. The question is, can he keep it going for the rest of the season? And I don't think that's the case. And so I think, and I know we talked about it on our little group chat and whatnot, that that Chase DeLauder will probably be up here by Tuesday when we start our next series at home against Toronto. So I assume that they're going to keep DeLauder down there for over the weekend in Columbus, and then when they get home, they're going to bring him up. Hell, we might even see CAVS come up at the same time. That could be like a little bit of something, but I don't think we will. I think they're going to keep. I think they're going to slowly take away Lane Thomas away and move Nolan Jones more towards center and put Chase DeLauder out and right. So that way Chase DeLauder can get some games in. And listen, it's something that has to be done because this is a guy who's gotten on base in every single game in AAA since he's been back from injury. Every game, I think it's like 20 games in a row, he's been on base and has gotten a hit. Like this kid is well, actually, he didn't get a hit like a week ago, but he had 3 walks, which is even more crazier. So this is a kid you need to bring up. I mean, looking at Kansas City, they brought up their prospect that they drafted this past year, and Jack Caglione, the same draft where we got Travis Bazzana, because I know the Guardians were conflicted between both Caglione and Bazzana, and we've made the choice to go with Travis Bazzana, and of course he's been dealing with the abdominal injury, which he should be back in the next couple weeks. He should be back towards the end of the month, so we'll see him probably back soon and make his way work up into the big league club. But Jack Caglione had 2 home runs today in his like 3rd game with the Royals, 2 home runs, and it turned out to be a massive difference for the Royals. So if he could do that, then I'm sure Chase DeLauder can come up to Cleveland and make that same kind of difference where he can just elevate the offense and just be a game changer and be a difference maker. And this is the guy we've been waiting to see for like 2 years to make this roster.
Least, yeah.
But just injuries have conflicted him. And if it wasn't for injuries, he probably would have been on the day 1 roster. Yeah. So I think we would see him starting Tuesday when we play Toronto back in our homestand. Like, I don't see a reason why not. I mean, we still have the 3rd. Well, now we're kind of tied with the Twins for the 3rd and final wild card spot, but you're still in the wild card race. You're 10 games back now of Detroit. I don't see what there is to lose in bringing Chase DeLauder up and just giving him a chance. Like,
there's nothing to lose.
Exactly. There's nothing to lose. So you might as well just do it and give it a try. And guess what? Like I said, he could be a massive difference maker, and this team could really flourish with a guy like, and it could elevate the offense. It could be like, the offense could be like, oh, hell yeah, dude, we got this hitter. This dude rakes. Like, now I want to rake. And now everyone's going to start smashing the baseball, and it's going to bring a whole different level to this team.
Yeah. And I mean, you kind of got that, last year out of guys like Manzardo and Schneemann. Exactly. Like when they came up, they sort of gave the Guardians another pop at the right time when they did come up. Even Noel did that, especially in the playoffs. Again, his pop really, really helped. So I even put that in my notes, regardless, you got to think CDO has got to be on his way up because they really do need a spark in the lineup. And we even talked about this before we started. So Stephen Kwan today had 3 hits, but was not able to drive in anybody because nobody behind him was getting on base. Holes 5 through 8 when it combined 0 for 9 or something with 7 strikeouts. It was unbelievable. Everybody was striking out, and even though we had 7 hits, we could only put on 1 run. I almost feel like you got to put Kwan at a different part of the lineup and let somebody else lead off just so you have run support and a guy that can hit in the middle of the freaking lineup. I know Kwan has been our leadoff guy for a while, but man, you need something. So if you can't get that with him, you got to bring up a guy like CDL, who has the slugging potential that you saw in Nolan Jones, and he has 2 home runs this year. So he hasn't done that. You're not really able to get enough out of Manzardo because you're not able to start him every freaking day, which is pissing me off. And Schneemann will have his good days. Arias will have weird days where he hits a home run here and there. Jose can only do so much, but he's also batting in like the third and fourth spot, mostly the third spot. You need guys in the middle of that lineup to be able to create some noise, because even guys like Bo Naylor, again, just continue to struggle, and then have, a few games here and there where he'll get a home run or he'll get a series of hits and be like, okay, he seems to be getting back, under his feet, and then he gets back down to being, a 205 batting average, and you're like, what the hell are we doing? What the hell are we doing with this lineup? We basically have a group of quadruple A players on this roster, and it is time to bring up some of these prospects that have been killing it, because you have nothing else to lose. If they don't produce in a week or two span, then you send it back down, and then you bring up guys like, Noel again, and maybe even Rocchio, if you continue to see Arias struggle the way he has. You got to find something that's going to work here. And you got to think about moving on from certain guys like Nolan Jones and Lane Thomas, who, again, I always believed was a freaking rental. We should have gotten rid of him before the season even started, because his value was up enough. Now you're almost stuck with him because his injuries are keeping him down. People probably don't want him for too much. You're going to get probably like a cash consideration or some single A ball kid that isn't going to ever see at the field. The Guardians just continue to prove that they only care about hoarding prospects and not putting up a legitimate team that can consistently mess with the rest. They will fight, and they will play well in certain spots, and they will still keep themselves relevant enough to squeak into a wild card game. But if you're squeaking into a wild card game and then you're only able to basically get there and then you lose, then it's almost not even worth getting into the wild card to even begin with. If you're getting there, you better win at least your first game. You better at least get into the divisional round. You got to make some noise. And right now, this team is struggling way too much. Vogt is thinking a little too much. But I also think he's also kind of been like, what else do you want me to do? The front office isn't doing anything. They're not bringing up any guys, which we all know they're the ones that control who comes up and who goes down. It's not Vogt. So everybody that thinks that's a Vogt move, I don't even think he has a say in it at all. I think it's strictly front office if we were told correctly. So Antonetti has some things he needs to clean up, because I have lost a little bit of faith in him, and I have been over the years, because they refuse to be aggressive. They refuse to stick to certain guys. They will keep certain guys that end up just not really working out in the long run, and then you get rid of them a year or two later when their value is 10 times less than it was when you could have gotten rid of them first. It's just, you don't keep talent, and then the talents that you do keep gets wasted, like Jose. Jose took a hometown discount to stay here because he loves it here, and he does. He wants to stay here. Jose doesn't want to leave. But then you got guys like Quan who are kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like he wants to play here. I'm sure he loves his teammates, but he loved it in San Fran because that's where he's from. It's no surprise that he enjoys this West Coast trip. So you have to think about also the possibility of that happening, which I don't think it will this year. I do not think Quan gets moved this year, but he has arbitration for the next 2 years after this season, or you just sign him to an extension. So it's going to be an interesting feat to see how that works. But the point is the Guardians need to make some moves, and they don't have a lot more time to really waste because the deadline is going to creep up. Hell, the All-Star game is creeping up. Like we're getting really close to All-Star game. I mean, we're in July, or June, so we're almost there. Like we have what, a few more weeks, I think, or a month maybe, and then we got the All-Star break. They need to figure it out and figure it out pretty quickly, because otherwise you're really going to see fans really not showing up even more than they already aren't, and that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, no, it is going to be a problem. And the All-Star game is July 15th, so almost exactly a month away.
That's what I thought, yeah.
But No, like you said, the first point that you mentioned was the bottom half of this lineup. From Lane Thomas to Gabriel Arias. So 5 through 8, because this is not including Martinez, who is batting ninth, went 0 for 8 with 8 strikeouts. It's abysmal, dude. It's out. Like, the only reason why I discount Martinez is because he bats ninth, but at least he gets on base. He's the only one who can get on base.
But he had 2 doubles today.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really ask for anything more than that. Like, he's getting on base, and you're not able to get him past. Like,
yeah, he's giving Quan something to work with at least. Yeah. But Quan just couldn't bring him home because he hit singles and they weren't deep enough to bring Martinez home. Now, if things could have been different if Quan hit 2 doubles instead of 2 singles, and next thing you know, it's a 3-2 ball game.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. But at least Quan, again, got on base, got a single, moved the runner to third. Like, he did his job. He moved the runner. And at these points, there's 1 out or no outs. It's to the rest of the lineup to just get the ball in the outfield and bring home that run. Right. Instead, we're trying to crank the ball. We're trying to swing at everything because guys like Schneemann swung at 2 balls in a row in the dirt that didn't even make it to the plate. And it's like, I get it. You're trying hard to get the run in. But at least wait for a pitch that's actually over the plate and not in the dirt. Like, this isn't golf, guys. This is baseball. No. Like, we gotta stop trying to golf the ball off the ground. The only one who could realistically do that is Jose.
Yeah.
And he did it, and almost got it through in the gap for a base hit, but a spectacular diving play by the second baseman too.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very good diving play, and that could have scored 2 runs too or something, like a run or something. So, I mean, there's certain moments where we do get runners in scoring position, and our biggest issue is that we waste them because we turn into it has to try too hard, and we swing at everything. It's just strikeout, and it's like, what the hell are we fucking swinging at?
Yeah, this isn't slow pitch softball where you get to swing at everything and hit everything. Guys have some stuff to throw at you, and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to hit. So you got to be ready for it. You got to be disciplined. And that's why guys like Santana are always consistent.
Yeah.
And getting a guy like CDL up here, he's going to be consistent. He's a smart hitter. And so is Bazzana. Once Bazzana gets up here, it's going to be even better.
Yeah, these guys, all the guys you mentioned are all patient hitters. They wait for a pitch that's over the plate. They make you pitch to them. Mm-hmm. They dictate the pitches. Santana's not going to swing until you throw a strike to him. Like, you have to throw Santana a strike. Otherwise, that dude's not swinging the bat.
Yeah, he really doesn't strike out for much.
And it's the same with Steven Kwan. Steven Kwan is the same way. Steven Kwan won't strike out. The last time I went to a game last week, Kwan had 24 strikeouts, 23 walks. And in that game, he got a walk, and he had just as many walks as he did strikeouts. Yeah. I was like, that's how you know you're an insane hitter. A guy who has over 80 hits, 24 walks, and 24 strikeouts. When you have triple the hits, almost quadruple the hits, and you have the same amount of walks as you do strikeouts, that's how you know that guy is very patient. He waits for his pitch. It's the same with the Santana pitches. You got to throw a strike to these guys, otherwise they're not swinging. Yeah. Same with Chase DeLauder. He won't swing unless you throw him a strike. Those guys will wait all day for you. They'll wait an hour until you throw a strike before they swing the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they make you pitch to them. Jose can be the same, but he's a little too aggressive to do that. But for someone like Jose, it's okay for him to be aggressive, because when he is aggressive, that's when he smokes the baseball. That's when he's at his best. So you have to let him do whatever he wants. It's like telling Aaron Judge not to swing at shit either. Like, that's the guy you want to swing at everything because once he makes contact, it's gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's no reason to not bring Chase DeLauder up just to give him a shot during this homestand. Lane Thomas can go sit the bench for a while until he figures some things out, or until the guards just kind of just move him, be like, hey, we're just going to move you. So thank you for your contributions last year. See you later, Mike. So there's some things that need to be addressed. And like you said, it all starts with Chris Antonetti, because what the Guardians' moves are, Stephen Vogt has no say in reality. Like, if he does have a say, it's just, hey, when can I get Chase DeLauder here? And Antonetti's probably just telling him soon. And he probably asked that like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, hey, when's he coming? Soon. He's coming soon. It's
It's like you can only freaking hope.
Like I'm sure Steven and I could tell by his facial expressions during the games, like he's like, I need something fucking new and I need it now.
Yeah.
But the front office won't give it to me, and then everyone gets mad at me for the lineup cards. Like, I'm sorry, but this is what I got. This is all I have. This is what I can do with what I got. And then everyone gets mad at the matchups. It's like, well, he's playing the matchups because it gives you the best chance to win. Like, I get it. You want Manzardo to play every day, but if Manzardo goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts against a left-handed pitcher, that's a waste. When you could have had someone who's right-handed in there who can hit the like David Fry, who's very good against left-handed hitters and gets on base against left-handed hitters. I'd rather have that guy on in the field or in the DH slot rather than a guy who's going to strike out.
Yeah, but I mean the one thing I will say though is Manzardo can hit both sides. He can, but he does strike out quite a bit. And that is his one downside is he is aggressive, but he does kill you with his power. He has the ability to drive and runs, and that's why you bring him in. So yeah, it is strategic, and it's going to be hard to really balance Fry and Manzardo when you have Santana. Now, if the Guardians are continuing to really struggle, then they may end up moving on from Santana just to make sure that you can get guys like Manzardo in. And even bring Noel back and get him some more at bats and still bring in Fry. Like you can still do that. So,
or until Fry's ready to throw the baseball, then you could put him in the outfield or something, and or put him at catcher. He could be the backup to Bo Naylor at that point.
Yeah,
and then you could just
better than we have, unfortunately.
Yeah, because at that point, then you keep Hedges just for Shane Bieber when he comes back.
Yeah,
but at that point, you just platoon David Fry and Bo Naylor.
Yeah.
So that way you can have Manzo play everyday DH or first base if you need him to.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see how this team continues to try to progress. But one thing is for certain, moves need to be made. This front office has got to wake up because it feels like they're just asleep at the wheel. And it's getting really frustrating as a fan to see this. But I do want to move quickly into the ordeal with Sanders right now, Shadur, because this has been a stupid topic nationally and even obviously around here, locally. Shadur Sanders got a speeding ticket. Technically, he's gotten 2 now, but he got a speeding ticket this past week, I think, going 101 in I believe it was a 65 mile per hour. And then he got another one in Brunswick where he was going like 91 and like a
75 or something.
75 or it was something like that. But point is, he's gotten 2 tickets in a month span, if that, and he didn't appear for court for the first one, I guess. So I don't know what the hell happened with that one. If he ended up just getting it taken care of, or what, I don't know. There was body cam footage and it was fine. It was just him being casual.
Yeah.
So to me, this is a nothing burger. Like this means nothing to me. But there are people, both in the national media and around here, and even our good friend Sean, who is very adamant and sort of being out on Shador here. And I gotta, be real with y'all. I think that's a little bit too much. And I understand the precipice. Like I understand why you want to be out on Shador. I understand, but I still feel like the risk versus the value is still there enough to where, like, even if he really doesn't make this team, he was a 5th round pick. So it's not the end all be all. If the Browns decide, hey, he's too immature, he can't, handle the workload, whatever it is. But everybody in that locker room, in that, place in Berea, everybody has said good things about him. So I just, LeBron James got a speeding ticket his rookie season, going 101 in a Porsche, heading back home to Bath after his birthday, and look how he turned out. Now I'm not saying and I'm not claiming that Shaduro is going to have the same trajectory as LeBron James, who is the GOAT. Not saying that at all, but there have been so many guys in the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, all of that have gotten speeding tickets because these guys have money. They can afford a $200 or $300 speeding ticket just for a story, just for the funsies, because they don't care. They're going to get out of it 9 times out of 10. And even if they got to pay the ticket, so be it. Again, it's probably a $300 ticket. It's technically probably close to a reckless op, if not it was, because after a certain mile per hour over, it's pretty much considered a reckless op. So you don't want that, but again, this is a nothing burger. Shadur, be fucking smarter, and you have money. Hire a guy to drive you around. Hire a chauffeur like LeBron did.
Yeah.
LeBron learned that around here you might as well just let somebody else drive because the weather's gonna suck, and if you're not prepared for it, you're gonna hate it, and you're gonna end up being like Myles Garrett, getting into a wreck. So just be smart, kid. Like that. That's all I gotta say. You're a kid. I know you got a good head on your shoulders, but come on, man. Like when you're in the league like this, you got to have some discipline and not just be a kid like everybody else is.
Yeah, no, like you said, so many people in the league, not just the NFL, but like the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, NHL, whatever. So many guys have gotten speeding tickets, and it's just there's things that are far worse, like the domestic violence and sexual assault. Like those things are 10 times worse than, oh no, you went 30 over in a car or something, like, or 20 over in a car. Like that's everyone does that every single day on a day-to-day basis. Even like normal people like us do it all the time. Like it's not uncommon. So we can't just wrap ourselves around the fact that, oh no, he got a speeding ticket. Oh boy, so did John from down the street. He got a speeding ticket too. Like, are we gonna hound him for getting a speeding ticket? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, people speed all the time. It's not like you go to work and your boss is like, "Why are you late? I got a speeding ticket." Oh man, you're fired, man. You can't get a speeding ticket here. Like, this is illegal in this country, man. You can't get a speeding ticket. Like this is grounds for a fireable offense. It's like, come on, like relax. Like it happens every single day. It happens all the time. Northeast Ohio, worst places in the country when it comes to this because we give out the most speeding tickets out of anyone in the country. This is a known fact. So when you come to Northeast Ohio, you got to be careful because cops will pull you over for no reason. It just happens all the time here. And just pay your fine if you get a ticket and you're good. Like it's $100, depending on the speed or whatever. Like I went last year. It was like $100. Like I paid it literally right when I got home. It's like, okay, cool, I'm good. Like it's nothing to be anything crazy about. It's we don't have to be hysterical about it and then call his career over after a speeding ticket. Right. There's so much worse. Rashee Rice last year when he got into that crash and then he fled the scene on foot. That was worse. Or obviously we remember Henry Ruggs when he sped in Las Vegas and killed somebody. That's 10 times worse.
Yeah, he's in jail.
Yeah. Well, I think he's getting out like this year or next year or something. And he might get another chance in the NFL or something, which is even crazier.
I mean, he might. He definitely might.
But the thing is like it's not like he was drunk like Henry Ruggs was and going 120. It's not like he was just being an idiot like Rashee Rice trying to weave in and out of traffic at 100 miles an hour and crashing into somebody. It's like he was driving on an empty highway. I mean, the highway looks pretty empty from the body cam of the cop. Oh. And yeah, he was being dumb. And it's not like he was hammered or anything. He was sober. He just made a mistake, probably just put his foot on the gas too hard and for people like him, it happens all the
It's
time.
like, hey man, you got an expensive truck. You want to see
Yeah.
what it's got under the hood? I get it, man. My first car, I went 110 down Waterloo Road when I was 17 years old. Sorry, Mom. You've never known that until now, but it's fine. It's fine. Your son is alive, and he does not do that stuff anymore. But the point is like we've all done it once or twice. Like, dude, we grew up with with parents that did drag racing,
My dad
in
did
some
drag racing all the
random
time.
yeah, like
My dad drag racing his Thunderbird.
Yeah,
My dad had a sick ass T-Bird, and he drag racing it all the time.
right. Is it stupid? Yes, of course it is.
Absolutely.
It's stupid to speed, but it happens, and it's not the worst thing in the world. I said this before we started. We have a quarterback still on this roster that has more SA charges than he does touchdowns in a Browns uniform. Okay. He has this dark cloud that's been open over this team's head since the minute we got him. And we're worried about a pair of speeding tickets from Shadur. Yes, is it immature? Yes. Who cares? My God, there's so many worse things, and I'm tired of it. I'm always tired of local media or even national media always having to take more out on another reason to hate so and so. They do it to LeBron all of the time. If he does one thing weirdly or different, or he loses this game, or he loses this game, all of a sudden he's back out of the GOAT status, and it's like, dude, he's made every accomplishment that you could possibly think of. Who cares? Now, Shadur hasn't proven anything, so his expectation should be nothing. He's human. He makes mistakes. He has flaws, just like we all do. Don't act like you are this picture perfect person. And if you are one of those people that has never gotten a ticket, honestly, Godspeed, especially if you live in the state of Ohio. The Ohio State Patrol, they are on that ass. Like they do not mess around. If you're going 10 over, you're done. If you're going 6 or 7 over, sometimes you're done. Sometimes they're cool. Sometimes they won't even let you get your stuff out. They'll say license, registration. They're like, okay. And they'll be like, well, I'm going to be issuing you a citation today. And you're like, what did you didn't even tell me what I did yet. And they will do it. Okay. It happens. Yep. So it is what it is. Move on from it. The team is going to move on from it. And hopefully it doesn't affect his on the field play. And if it does, then you move on from him because guess what? He's a 5th round pick. He's a 5th round pick. So him not working out really doesn't do anything for you because you're probably going to get another quarterback next year.
Yep.
So why are we even having this discussion? Oh, because we have nothing else to talk about in this dumb town. The Cavs are done. The Guardians suck right now. There's nothing else to talk about. So what is the local media going to do? They're going to talk about a pair of speeding tickets. And that's all. People like MKC who, God bless her. She does some really good reporting, but she also does some really stupid stories at times. And she continues to sort of drag him through the mud, and we're like, dude, shut up. We know. Let it go. All right. I get it. We needed some content, but let's get a little bit more creative again. Didn't we have this discussion like 2 months ago where we said, why is content creation always so cut and dry? Why do people keep reiterating the same points and making the same types of videos over and over and over again, talking about the same thing? Get creative. What do you think we're doing today?
Yeah.
We're going to get creative here in about 5 minutes because I'm about done with this conversation at this point. But it sucks. It is what it is. We don't even have training camp yet. So why don't we pump the brakes and just talk a little bit more about the fact that the Thunder could very well win their first NBA championship tonight. Halliburton was cleared despite having a calf injury. You're going to have to see that as well. You just had a back-to-back title win in the NHL.
With the Florida Panthers, yeah.
Yeah. So there's still a lot of great things to talk about locally and nationally. So why are we making this big of a deal? It doesn't mean anything to me. Hell, the NBA draft is going to be coming up soon.
Yeah, that's in like a couple. I think that's in a few weeks, isn't it?
If that, yeah, I think it might be at the end of June.
Because I know the NHL draft is like June 29th or something.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at the NBA draft.
So yeah, I don't know if you have anything more to add to that. I just kind of rambled a little bit there.
No, I have absolutely nothing. We could just move on.
Awesome. All right. Well, then I am. I am going to move on because
By the way, the NBA draft is June 25th, so it's next Wednesday. Or
okay,
well, this coming Wednesday actually
awesome.
would be the NBA draft. So if you want something to watch the NBA draft on Wednesday.
Yeah. So this is what we're gonna do here. I am on my Facebook right now because it is the only. Here we go. It's the only way that I can pull up this particular um, video. But we are going to rewatch. It is a 12.5-minute video. We're going to rewatch some highlights of the NBA Finals Game 7 victory. The Cavs started out this series rough. They instantly lost 2 games right away. Came out in Game 3 at home, crushed it. We're like, great. We're back in this thing. Then they lose Game 4. And we're like, man, this is gonna suck. But Draymond Green gets suspended because of the little nut shot to LeBron, and his text that he had prior in the playoffs led up to him getting suspended for that game because of his technical fouls and his flagrants. So, Game 5, we obviously know Game 5.
Yep.
LeBron and Kyrie's duo 41-point night was a monumental game. And then LeBron, Game 6, comes back, drops another 41 points, almost drops a triple-double. I think Kyrie had like 26 or 27 points that night as well. And then here we are. After being down 3-1, they come into this game 3-3. Andrew, what was your feelings going into this game? Because I remember exactly how I felt at this game. What was it like for you in that time?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, this video is probably courtesy of the NBA, so that way we don't get hit with any copyright infringements and shit like that. Because we have to do that, otherwise this will get taken down like in 10 seconds. So courtesy of the NBA, this is highlights of Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Yeah, my exact feelings, dude. I remember feeling incredibly excited, but also insanely nervous.
Oh yeah,
because I was like a mix of emotions. I was like, oh my god, dude, it's Game 7. We have a chance of winning. I was like, oh, against the Warriors, we're gonna lose. And I remember before the game started, me and my brother were playing like beer pong, but with water, and we were taking shots of Ciroc at this time period. So the disclaimer. So I was excited, but also insanely nervous. But yeah, that's how I felt. Like I was just every emotion in my body just being released right when this moment happened. Just even at tip off, like it was insane. I didn't know what to do, and I almost threw up because of all the emotions. Because there's so much shit going on.
Plus you added the drinking as well.
Yeah, plus I had the drinking.
So during this time, I was still living at my dad's house. I was like 21. I was still in college. Just getting ready to go in to Kent State, or at least a good semester or so in there. And I remember sitting in my room. I didn't go anywhere. I wanted to watch this game alone. I did not want anybody to mess with me. I didn't want anybody to kill my vibe, because I was like, this is going to be a game that I'm going to be so into that I'm honestly going to feel bad for anybody else that's going to be around me, because I'm going to be very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, so I've told you this story a few times, but after Game 4, when Draymond got suspended, I was like, man, I got a weird feeling that we're going to win Game 5 just because of that.
Same.
And I was like, if we win Game 5, we're going to win Game 6. And if we definitely win Game 6, the momentum is in our favor. I think we can win Game 7. So going into this game, I actually had optimism. Like, I really did think, I was like, man, this is going to be the most difficult game ever. But I was like, this team has it. They are locked the hell in. They understand what they need to do. And this Golden State Warriors team is beatable. And they messed up. As LeBron said, they effed up after Game 5. They effed up. And he knew it. He went for the kill in this game. So did Kyrie. We obviously remember Kevin Love shutting down Steph Curry. You have so many moments in this game, which we will go through. We'll sort of stop and like sort of go over certain times in this game where it was like, okay, this was another crucial part. But I actually watched this earlier. I forgot how truly back and forth this game was.
Yeah.
This was a game of like no more than like a 6 or 7 point game. Like I think they were up 49-42 at half. And then J.R. Smith scores that 9 straight points or, whatever it was. Kyrie scored 12 points in the third as well. Just, dude, there were so many moments in this game that were incredible. I am so excited to watch this and just kind of relive it because it's always an emotional time. So, without further ado, let's go ahead. I'm going to make sure it's not too loud or anything because I don't want to blow anybody's eardrums out. So, let me know if it ends up being good. I am excited.
Yeah, I can't even hear it. So
okay, I don't know why it doesn't want to have the. I don't know why it's not going to share it, but honestly, that's fine. It's probably better for us anyway.
Yeah,
because the video probably won't get taken down.
Yeah.
So, yes, this game was so back and forth. TT, he had an incredible game 7.
Yeah. This was prime TTT. This was when he was actually like good.
Yes.
Oh man.
Draymond Green also had a monster game this game. I don't know if you recall, he hit every 3-pointer. He threw up. I think he went like 5 of 5 or 6 of 6.
Yeah.
Including like 4 or 5 in the first half, I think. Like Draymond went off this game. It was the only game that he shot really, really well.
I'm already getting emotions. Because like you said, in this game, like Draymond just like unsurprisingly went off, and when I saw that he went off or was starting to go off, I was like, "This is over for us," because like there's no chance that he goes off and they lose this game.
Right, because you thought everybody else would, but Steph Curry and Clay they had moments, but they really didn't play well this game. Steph had quite a few turnovers in this game.
And that's where the experience of like guys like Richard Jefferson came in and stuff like that. Like obviously we saw that pick steal that he just had, like Steph trying to do too much and RJ with this just good defense. They just said, I'm not falling for that. I've been in the league for like 15 years.
Right.
But yeah, this
for LeBron.
Yeah, this was very much a back and forth game, and like it was just like I don't think anyone in the stadium even sat down.
No, I doubt it.
Because there's
one. I mean, honestly, how could you? Yeah. Like how could you? The only thing that I do wish that I did during this game is I wish I would have went to the Q, or at least in downtown, and been there.
Same.
Because I had quite a few buddies of mine at that time that were there, and they said it was just like freaking awesome. Mo Williams was another guy.
Yeah.
That whole season locked it down for us.
I think we were trying to or wanting to go to downtown, but I don't think we could for some reason. Otherwise, we would have been in downtown for this game.
Oh yeah, this is a big shot here. The shot and 1-3.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was because my parents had to like work like super early the next morning, so we couldn't go up to Cleveland.
Yeah, and then Steph Curry and 1. Like this is how this game was the entire game.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
The leads really didn't grow too large, and everybody, like, once they grew a lead, the other team would come back and score and tie it up or get another 2 or 3 point lead. It was insane. Draymond Green hits another.
It's so crazy how he was like so on point with his threes in this game.
Right, because the rest of the series he shot like crap.
Yeah,
but this was about prime, like probably Draymond's like best years right here.
Yeah. And
from
the big
like
block
16 to like 18 or 19, he was really, really good.
And again, another huge block by LeBron in the stare down, because he did that like was a game 3-2 where he had a massive swat against Steph Curry and just like stared him down.
I think LeBron had 3 blocks this game, including the infamous one.
Yeah.
But I think he got another one later on in the game. Yeah. This again.
Like
a big play by Draymond, and then Kyrie just does his thing.
Yeah, and they just showed Draymond had 16 points already in this point
Mhm.
with and he was 4 for 4 from 3,
Yeah.
which is
Um,
insane.
I'm always gonna say too that this version of Kyrie was my absolute favorite.
I think
5/5.
I still believe that if Kyrie would have stayed, I would have had a feeling that LeBron would have stayed, and that they would have,
Probably.
and they probably would have kept, like they probably could have won like 1 or 2 more championships.
Probably. It really would have helped if KD didn't go to
Golden
go
State.
Golden State. Like that obviously impacts a lot and it makes it really hard because nobody else is going to make it out of the West at that time.
Yeah, and there's a
And
second block that you were talking about.
yeah. And the Cavs were the only team in the East that were ever going to make it. So we played them every day or every year for like what was it, 6 straight years or 5 straight years? Like
Yeah,
it was too much. But this truly was a rival. Like this was
this was a
every
massive
year
rivalry.
it was a rivalry.
Like, look at those numbers: 38% to
Yeah.
40%.
Yeah.
We were only
Yeah.
one of
So
14 from 3.
49 to 42 at half. Golden State shot 40%, 10 of 21 at 3. We were 1 of 14. So the only 3 that we had made at this time was the
What's the
shumper
shumper?
and 1.
Yeah,
Free throws kept us in. We had 13 fast break points, which really helped us, but we also had 8 turnovers. So the Cavs did not play well in this first half. They were
no.
only down by
And
7 points.
and the big thing too is the 5 turnovers did not turn into any points for the Warriors, which was actually kind of huge for
Yeah.
the defensive part of the game.
Yeah. So yeah. Now we get into the second half. And this is when J.R. Smith made his impact on the game.
Yeah.
I will also never forget the fact that J.R. Smith was wearing LeBron shoes as well during this time in a Cavs uniform. I just thought that was awesome.
God damn. Back when Clay and Steph
just
were actually
back to
good.
back. And here's another J.R. Smith. One dribble.
Make him slip.
Bang.
Bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think he might have done one more here. Or no, this is Kai.
Yeah, this is Kai over. Is that Festus Ezeli?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god, dude. What a name.
I mean, look at that dribble drive. Like,
Yeah.
dude, like
He was so elite.
we love how good Donovan can be going to the rack. But Kyrie was the most unbelievable player going to the rim. Like he knew how to move his body and use his body better than almost anyone but Donovan. I mean Donovan does it fantastically, but Kyrie just had the true athleticism, and he had like AI level handling, and he could shoot the ball as well as anybody in the league and still can. But he was beyond flashy at this at this time period of being a Cav.
God,
Big and one.
And I always hated seeing Anderson Varejao too, because it broke my heart that he was on Golden State at this time period.
I actually made it a joke at this time that the Varejao was our bad luck charm. Yeah. And then as soon as he went to Golden State, big and one here. Huge and one there. Kyrie had 12 points since third quarter. This was the biggest part. I mean, look, we had a 6-point lead here.
Yeah.
A 5-point lead here.
And we were down by like 5 or 6.
Yeah. Like this was such an unbelievable game.
And like these moves, like he throws that, like that's like the 4th time he threw it like way up high off the glass too, and got it to drop.
And on his off foot as well. Like he went off his left foot going up left-handed. Like that is unbelievable.
This was Kyrie's best like prime years, like 2011 to like 2016, 17, whatever was his like insane years.
And by the way, this was the season after he tore his meniscus during the first series in 2015.
Yeah, which we probably would have won
game 1 or game 2.
We probably would have won that series if he was healthy.
Yeah.
If him and Love were healthy. Yeah, if him and Love were healthy, like especially if just him was healthy, like we probably win that series hands down.
But that's why we knew, like, if we were to face him again, we knew we had a really good chance of beating him.
Yeah,
because we we knew we're like, hey, we know they're fucking kryptonite. Sean Livingston. Yeah. Talk about a dude that killed us in 2015. Him and Iggy were so massive. But But for this year, it wasn't as bad. See, Kyrie did stuff like that more than we would like to admit. And Donovan does it too, but man.
God, man. And of course, the fourth quarter like started to scare me, especially this shot right here. I was like, damn, man.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was that moment of like, hey, we've seen this before. Like we usually know how this goes.
Yeah.
And then Clay hits one off balance, and we're like, gosh, here we go. But again, look, it's a 1-point game.
Yeah.
LeBron hits one, and then here's where LeBron starts to get into it.
Yep. Here's the
Here's the
block.
infamous block. One of the
Oh,
biggest
blocked by
plays,
James.
one of the biggest blocks in NBA history.
Yeah. I was going to say one of the biggest blocks in NBA history. And of course, you know, I know a lot of people said it was the shot by Kyrie, but people forget the block happened first.
Speaking of which.
And of course, the block led to this moment, the dagger.
Just a humongous shot. Because again, remember, at this point, nobody had scored a basket for like 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
it was brutal, dude. As a fan, just constantly going back up and down the court, and you're not scoring. Like either team is scoring. You're like, oh my god, what is happening? Like, what is going to happen?
The anxiety is through the roof at this point because, like you said, it's 5 minutes till someone scored, and your anxiety is just going crazy. It's like, oh my god, someone just can score. Just someone put the ball in the basket.
Somebody score, and then finally you see they get Steph on Kyrie, and you're like, okay, this is the matchup. Let Kyrie work, and he just kind of dribble. Beautiful shot that is only his. I mean, you couldn't ask for a bigger shot. And I know LeBron was the MVP of this series, but Kyrie had LeBron not done what he did in games 5 and 6, Kyrie could have very easily won the finals MVP.
Yeah, and this is the moment I knew we won.
Yeah.
Because once Steph missed that shot, it was over. Because even if he made the shot, they're still down by 1 with like 2 seconds left.
Now, the only thing that I was disappointed about with this was the fact that it didn't show the K-Love lockdown previously after that. So what this is now, it's going to be the the reaction. And I think LeBron's interview where he's like, Cleveland, this is for you. Yeah, I just wanted to show that too because this is like the most fun part of it.
This was the best time of our lives.
Yeah, I mean, this was outside of Cleveland, as there's an Indians game at the time probably going on.
And there's people inside the queue too, watching the game inside the Quicken Loans Arena.
And the queue, by the way, was sold out.
Yeah,
it was packed to the brim.
And probably
there were people outside too.
Yeah, probably the same amount of people outside as inside.
Now, before we move on to this, I remember once the game ended, it was really, really late at night. It was like 11:30 at night or something.
Yeah.
And I forget what day of the week it was for that time, but
I forget because it was June 19th, 2016. So I could look back in the calendar real quick.
Yeah, but it was a night where everybody was asleep, and I was geeking the fuck out. I was like, oh my god. I literally woke my dad up and said, we did it,
Sunday.
Dad. Okay. I was like, Dad, we did it. Dad, we did it. Oh my god, we just fucking won. And I remember we had like one of those like 5 or 6 foot like inflatable pools in the backyard at the time.
Yeah.
Because my stepmom wanted a pool and we had it up for I think 1 year and then we didn't use it again. I almost jumped. Actually, no, I did jump in there. I threw my phone in the grass and jumped in there. And I was like, oh my god, we just fucking won. Yeah, it was all shock. Like at this moment, like,
yeah,
at this point, I'm sitting at my desk, I'm watching this game, and I'm like, holy crap, we just did it. And Cleveland was a party.
Cleveland was a vibe for like that whole week.
Were you were at the parade, correct?
I was at the parade.
Okay. So you remember how chaotic it was just to get in.
Oh, it was insane. We actually got there. I want to say it was like close to like 9-10 a.m. before it got like overly crazy. Like we got there, like we tried to get there as early as possible.
And it still didn't matter.
And it still didn't matter. Like it was still crowded. Like luckily, my uncles work a lot. They run like cable. They do like they renovate like houses and apartments and stuff, and they run like cable wires, like internet cable wires and stuff like that. So The building I actually live in now, they ran the cable wires in this building, I think during this time period.
Probably.
And so they actually had key fobs to get into the into the garages or into the spaces. So we actually had a place to park when we actually got there. So and they worked on multiple apartments in downtown. So we had multiple places to go if we needed to. So we had parking down. It was just getting to Cleveland.
All right, you ready for my story? Because the way that we got in was insane. So originally we were going to take one of the buses because I think it was RTA was doing a bunch of of stuff. So we wanted to go out of Beechwood because it was probably the closest one I think to us at that time because it's it's right by like Rockside and stuff like that. Like it's outdoor, out that spot. So it's not that bad to get to. Bro, when we pulled up to like what it was, we saw the line, which was wrapped around the entire parking lot times like 1 or 2. Like it was bad. And we're like, fuck this. We are just going to go into Cleveland and just get in there via car and just park ourselves. So we did. And what ended up happening is we went up through the east side. I forget where exactly, but we went up through the east side. And we ended up in this little area just on the east side, like just outside of downtown, not too far outside of downtown or anything, but far enough to where you're a good like mile or so walk away from getting to where the vicinity of where we were going to be at. And we parked in front of an apartment complex. We just parked in the yard because it was getting so packed that honestly, people just started parking on the side of the road. People parked on the side of the highway behind where we ended up being at, which was right in front of the Progressive Field sign right there. On that sign of, I think it was Carnegie or Ontario. It was the corner where MGK climbed on top of the light pole and like swaying upside down as he's playing CLE Till I Die, which was super dope to see that right there. But it took us like 2 hours to get into Cleveland alone just because of how bad the traffic was. And then we didn't even stay for the whole parade because the parade got delayed.
Yeah.
If you recall, the parade got delayed for so long, for like 45 minutes, because there was so many freaking people there. There was like 2 million people in Cleveland.
There was close to 2 million people in downtown Cleveland, and you could not move at all.
And it was hot that day.
And it was insanely hot. Because we were standing by Quicken Loans Arena and by the casino is where we were.
Okay.
So we were by the ballparks and the stadiums or whatever. And I just remember when we walked over there, dude, like it was absolutely insane. But like it was a double parade for people that remember. It was a double parade because the Monsters also won the Calder Cup like a few days before.
That's right. I totally forgot about that part.
So it was a double parade between the Cavs and the Monsters because they both won a title at like days apart from each other. so they just said, screw it, we're gonna join you in your parade because we won a title too, dog. Right. Like, and so they joined in, and like I was just scrolling through my Facebook because I still have photos of like the actual like parade on my Facebook. Like there's like pictures of like Jim Brown and like the signs and stuff like that. Like the players, like J.R. Smith throwing champagne everywhere. Like it was, dude, the parade was so electric, and I'd never seen so many people in Cleveland at one time. And I've always talked about like, could you imagine if the Guardians won a title for the first time since 1948, or if
even the Browns,
or if the Browns won a Super Bowl? Like, do you know how much more chaotic like the Browns Super Bowl like parade would be? Like, I'm glad I live in downtown because I can I'm already here, but it would be so chaotic. Like, I don't think the city would exist anymore. The Browns won a Super Bowl because this is such a Browns town that the Browns win the Super Bowl, like something would happen, like things would happen, and like it would be probably the best moments of all of our lives at that point. But yeah, downtown Cleveland was electric. I mean, it was damn near like that all week during the week leading up to the parade. Like
it really was.
Like
It
everyone
was such a fun day.
Like I remember people who took off work all week just to stay in Cleveland and just party and just hang out and shit. Yeah.
So I've only called off work in my entire life 3 times. The first time I ever called off, actually no, the second time I called off was for the parade.
Yeah.
The first time that I ever called off was because I had to move out of my mom's house because they had sold the house. So I was getting back into my dad's house full time while they were going to live with my stepdad's parents until they are obviously in the house they're in now. But yeah, the second time I ever called off, I was still at Applebee's at this time. So I worked at Applebee's for like 5.5 years, guys. Pretty much all throughout college, I worked at Crapplebee's. Many people, I actually, the boss that I work with now was a server at that same place when I first started, and now he's my boss. So kind of funny because he also called off that day as well. Like pretty much everybody called off, and for some reason Applebee's ended up getting slightly busy during that time, which was even more funny to me. But it was so worth it out. Like because one of the managers at the time was like, okay, if we're gonna call off, at least try to get somebody to work for you. And I was like, okay. And I really did try, but nobody wanted to, obviously. And I was like,
yeah,
listen,
we just
May,
won an NBA championship, but nobody's going into work.
Yeah. So I was like, listen, May, I understand. I'm gonna get written up. It's fine. I understand, but I have to go. Like I have to be here to witness this, because I don't know when I'm ever gonna get this chance again. She's like, you know what? I kind of respect it. I have fun. And I was like, thanks. And again, I called her at like 7 a.m. because we had gotten up at like 6 or 6:30 to do this, because I actually remember my buddy had to go work. I think he was still at McDonald's at this time as well when this happened. So again, like this was so long ago that like just reliving it, it brings up more memories than you originally had. So 9 years ago, I'll even grab the shirt real fast just to show you guys how frayed it is now, because I've worn it a couple times, but I honestly really don't wear this shirt because I don't want to ruin it, because I mean it's the shirt. So it's really not as frayed as I thought it was. So I've worn it a few times, but this shirt stays in my closet. It will never not be in there because
it's just good memories.
It's good memories. And it was probably the best time of my life as a sports fan. I will obviously never forget it. And the day that either the Guardians or the Browns can do it, or even the Cavs, if the Cavs can do it again, that's great. Obviously we've seen Ohio State do it, but when they win, it's a lot different than seeing a Cleveland team win, because Ohio, we've been there.
Well, you have
with Ohio State.
Yeah, you have a good feeling that Ohio State has a chance every year to win it.
Yeah, every year. Every year. You're like, I mean, they're going to at least compete in the playoff. Like, they're going to be there.
It's just a matter of time that they win one.
Yeah. And, again, before this, too, we had the streak. It was, 56 years?
56 years.
And one of my favorite last parts of this before we, get out of here, I wish I could pull up the clip and share the sound of Fred McLeod after the game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Like, how truly emotional he was. Like, the dude was crying because he's like, it's been 50-something years, and we finally did it.
Been 50,
and it's over.
It was 52 years because
52 years. That's right. It was
because 1964 the Browns won the NFL championship and it was 52 years later, the Cavs won the NBA championship.
Yeah.
And then later that fall, the Guardians lost in Game 7 of the World Series.
Yep.
So we almost had 3 champions in one season because we had the Monsters, the Cavs, and we were so close to the Indians winning the World Series. The only team that wouldn't win shit was the Browns.
Yeah. I mean, I was about to say at that time the Browns were on their way to lose every game.
They were on their way to lose every single game. We
had
a parade.
Miles and then they tanked for Baker.
The Browns had a parade, but for completely different reasons.
Right. And we literally did too. That's the funniest part. God, I always forget about the 0-16 parade.
Like there was 3 parades, just one, just one for a completely different reason than the other 2. But
just hearing the Fred McLeod thing, like I think that was my favorite because again, as a journalism guy, like I grew up listening to him and AC. Like they were the reason that you really fell in love with watching the Cavs on TV.
The reason why I fell in love with like wanting to become like a podcaster or like a radio host was because it wasn't the days of like Fred McLeod and AC, but it was Joe Tate. Back in like when LeBron was like first starting it, like from like LeBron's first entire year with the Cavs, like from like 03 to 09 when it was Joe Tate or whatever, like I would go to my grandparents' house and we would turn the game on the TV. My grandfather would mute the TV and turn the game on his radio so we could listen to Joe Tate on the radio instead of listening to the TV announcers.
Because he was one of the best to do it.
Yeah, and Joe Tate, Jim Donovan, and obviously Tom Hamilton for the Indians. You know, all 3 of those guys, the best voices in sports, like hands down.
Yeah, we've really been very lucky with the voices that we've had to be able to even cover the game. You know, even having Allie Clifton as a sideline reporter for the Cavs, she was another one that just made it the whole experience as a fan so much more fun. Even the guy that does the intros for the Cavs, he's still there. As soon as you hear his voice, you're like, here we go. Like,
but even the girl that we have now for the Cavs sideline, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, the Cleveland sports scene always finds the best like sports announcers. Like really even the Browns, when we have what's his name now? Nate, I think is his name. Nate Zagura.
Yeah, Zagura and the other guy, Andrew something.
Yeah, those guys are great too.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, so it's like we've been so blessed with like some of the best voices of like the Browns, the Cavs, and the Guardians because like all the others, like I feel bad for the A's and who they have, and it's like we could have that, but we also have 3 teams with the best voices to listen to. Like I used to never want to watch the Browns on TV because I would just go into my car and just listen to Jim Donovan just so I could listen to him. Yeah. But before we go, the one final story I wanted to tell was after that buzzard went in Game 7 of the finals, mind you, I lived in Akron. I lived like 2 minutes away from where LeBron grew up.
Yeah,
and
it's very true.
Once that buzzer went off, I sprinted out the front door. And all I remember is all of my neighbors, like the entire neighborhood, we all just ran into the street and just started hugging. Even neighbors I never met before.
Right.
We were all just hugging each other, like going, just shaking each other, like going crazy. There's cars that came that were just trying to pass through that they stopped, got out of their cars and were jumping around and hugging with us. Like we stopped traffic. And we were all just like, it was like one of the best feelings in the world that like we all came together as a community, especially like being from Akron, home of the guy who promised us a championship and won. Like it was something more special just being in that neighborhood. Instead of being in Cleveland, it was something more special about being in Akron when it happened, because the guy who won it grew up there. He was from there, and it's like, oh my God, I'm from the same city as this man. Who just delivered the greatest thing that I've ever seen. And that's an NBA championship. And it blows my mind that I got to see that. And I hope we see one next year because I know you have your conspiracy theory that I truly believe in too.
Yeah. So I mean, I could share that. So, at this time, the year prior, Ohio State won their
Yeah.
championship. They won the very first playoff NCAA championship. And then the next year, the Cavs obviously won theirs. So Ohio State just won theirs this past season, and the Cavs could very well have a chance to now win this one next year. So, is it going to happen? I don't know, but
I believe it.
I mean, hey, the Browns are going to go in the same freaking trajectory. For all we know, the Browns may go 1-15 this year again and really do it up well. Like that really is a possibility.
And if that's the truth, then the Guardians are going to somehow find a way to win 20 games in a row and make it to the World Series.
And then blow a 3-1 lead in the World Series. God bless it.
Oh god, dude! It was a complete recreation of 2016, dude. I'd be happy because the Cavs won the championship, but I would be laughing my ass off. Like if the Guardians,
what the hell?
Like if the Guardians lost the World Series, I would literally like I wouldn't cry and be like upset. I would laugh. I'd be like, oh my god, it's 2016 all over again.
It really is. You're like, all right, well, like at least we're gonna get one.
Maybe two, because remember the Monsters won the Calder Cup. So
yeah, that's right.
So that means the Monsters would have to win too.
That's so funny. So yeah, man, it's it'll be interesting.
It would be.
I did think about that as we were starting to get ready to like record. I was like, hey, wait a minute, that's right. Like that did happen, and then Ohio State just won this year, so maybe the Cavs are destined. So we'll see. Because the Cavs still have some moves to make. They're going to have to sort out some things with guys like Kokoro. I'm obviously done with the Dean Wade project. So, we'll see. But, yeah, we're going to give a quick shout-out to the boys, the sponsorships. So go ahead, Drew. Go ahead and do that for us.
Yeah, just before we end this thing or continue a little bit of what we're going to talk about, check out our sponsor, Effortless Wins, for sports betting advice and plays to boost your wins. Talk to Tony and Greg. Links will be in the description on Spotify or in the first comment that's most likely on the YouTube below. We really appreciate you guys going and checking them out. These guys work hard. They do hella good research on these bets. And listen, I won 3 out of 4 slips yesterday that I put in, tripled my profit. So these are guys who make good, safe plays that are basically almost guaranteed to hit. And listen, I would do it. I would take the opportunity to do it. It's phenomenal. Who knows? Maybe I can get good enough to where I could retire in the next couple of years and be just a sports bettor and live my life as a sports bettor. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, that would be a fantasy, honestly.
That would be. So go and check them out, guys. They're amazing people. They're super nice, and I highly recommend them. They'll get you right when it comes to sports betting.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for us. To all that watched it with us or ended up, being here, with us on Spotify. Thank you. Obviously, we wanted to relive this day. It was fun. I actually almost teared up there for a minute because I was like, oh my gosh, like this is insane.
I wanted to.
Right. Well, I mean, because you think about too, me and my grandpa sharing that, and obviously I lost him last year. Yeah. So it was just one of those things that's just like, man, that's so dope that I got to be around with him during that time and be able to experience that with him, because I mean he grew up with Jim Brown and all those guys, so he saw them. Mm-hmm. He saw the Indians during the 90s, and he's been there to really see all those teams. We didn't.
I mean, my grandfather on my mom's side, before he passed away in 2011. Yeah. He was born in 1925. He fought in World War II, and he witnessed the Indians winning the first World Series in 1948. He witnessed that. He witnessed the 1948 World Series.
Right.
And obviously he witnessed the monumental amounts of championships that the Browns have won, which, by the way, now the NFL says they count. So the Browns technically have 8 championships. Or 6 championships, whatever. So I'm just saying, the AAFC championships or the NFL championships that the Browns have won, they now count. So don't come at me, come at the NFL. We're just Browns fans who are celebrating it because we deserve them. we deserve success. But yeah, I'm with you, dude. My grandfather watched the Browns win those championships. He watched the Indians win their first ever World Series in 1948. I wish he was there to witness the CAVS championship because I know he would have been so happy, even though he would have been like at that time, God, probably like 89 years old. Well, actually, 1925 to 2015 would be, or 2016 would be like 90 years old.
Yeah.
So he would have been 90 when the Cavs won the title. Fortunately, my grandmother survived, and she lived until in the middle of COVID. So I think she passed away in like 2020, 2021. Again, she was like 95, 96. I think having some COVID maybe that ended her. But I don't know for sure. I know she was just getting really sick before her time passing. So,
Right.
but she was able to witness it, and obviously it was full of emotions that she got to witness it too. So, our grandparents deserve those moments too, for sure.
So yeah, man, it's quite unreal to even think about that. So yeah, guys, we will see y'all next week with hopefully some more of fun and enjoyable news about the Guardians. But the way things are going, you never know. So hopefully we'll see some CDL next week. God, I pray for it. We'll see y'all next time.